So my Birchwood Casey stuff arrived for the wood as well as the metalwork. So before I start doing it on the quite a lot of the metalwork on the HW80, I thought what I'd do is I'd try it on the little barrel on the Webley Tempest. So it did have a little bit of a rust spot. I'll just rub that down with a brass brush. And then what we'll do is we'll degrease it, rinse it in water, rust and blue remover to get rid of any other bits and pieces, because it's still got a bit of blue up this end, but it's worn away down to the other end, and obviously that's the part that you are handling most of the time. And then we'll see what the Perma Blue looks like before I go putting it all over the metalwork on the HW80. So first up, cleaning. So just putting a bit of the degreaser on the knurling, just using this to try and get into the nooks and crannies. And as you can tell, it's quite dirty, so I'll carry on and hopefully get it nice and clean. So been scrubbing with the degreaser. Next it just needs to go into some water to remove it. I'll go and get some gloves on, and then we can see about trying to get some of this old blue off and a bit of the rust as well. Blue and rust remover. So what you're supposed to do is use a swab. I think when I run out of that, I have actually got some lint-free cloth I'll use instead. Use a swab, and then you put it all over, leave it for a couple of minutes, buff with some wire wool, fine wire wool, which I've got now, and then you degrease again. So let's do this one first. Stinks a bit, this rust remover, and it looks like Mountain Dew, so maybe I should just use some of that instead. Alright, so we'll do this and then we'll degrease it. It's been a minute or so. Leave it on there for another minute or, and then we'll rinse it off and degrease it again. It smells quite nice little swabs actually. Yeah, quite nice. This is supposed to get rid of all the any other old bluing, bit of rust on these steel barrels. So hopefully it's all in the preparation, and then when it comes to using the bluing, you get a nice deep lustrous blue. That's the theory. So next up, once it's been sat for a couple of minutes, is to use a piece of dampened wire wool and give it a nice little light scrubbing. You can tell it's taken a lot off there before degreasing. Wow, pretty good. Right, so let's give it a clean. So just about there was that rust patch. So it's tackled it quite well. It's nice and shiny. So let's break out this stuff again and give it one final clean before adding the blue. Right, so it's been rust remover, degreased, rinsed, rubbed down, clean, dry. Now I'm going to do some Perma Blue. So I'm going to put it onto a lint-free cloth, start at this end. After a minute we're supposed to rinse it off, and then we'll slowly work upwards. We'll see how quickly it works and see how many coats it needs. So magic happens before your eyes. So right, I need 2 hands for this. So you can tell the area that I've just done falling over. Oh, for God's sake. And the area that's to be done. So this needs to sit for a minute and then rinsed off, and then I'll do the other bit. I think it's coming up alright actually. So it just needs to stay on the gun, barrel, about a minute. Rinse, dry off, buff, bit of cotton steel wool. Repeat God knows how many times until you get to the desired effect. But I think you can see that that's made quite a difference. So yeah, that's after one complete cycle, as it were. The rust patch seems to have gone. It's in the knurling. All in all, I'm quite impressed with that, so I'm going to do another one. Just see if I can get it a bit darker. From what I understand, it doesn't actually go blue. It's more of a dark metallic grey than the blue that you get from the factory. But yeah, that should just tidy that up, hopefully, and make it look a little bit more presentable on the gun. That's the second coat done. I'll let it stand for a bit. Then what I'll do, I'll get some wet steel wool. Just give it a gentle wipe over just to even it out a little bit, because it does take a bit of it off. Rinse, and then this wipe that I'll put over it. And hopefully it'll look alright when it goes back on the pistol. So now that that's been had 2 coats of Perma Blue on it, I think it looks alright. So the last thing apparently is this stuff, Barricade rust protection. I have no idea what it is, but yeah. So we'll put that on and then see about putting it back on the pistol.